Alright guys, we're here with another deck tech video for Keyforge, the randomized deck building game, or deck collecting game, I guess I should say. I won't really go too much into the rules or how the game works in this video. I did that in my last video, which was my first video on the subject. So I won't do that anymore, because I will just assume that everybody watching this video has an understanding of what the game is. So let's get into it. This is the Archon of the deck. Dale Specialist. Then on the back he has his deck list. You can freeze frame this if you just want to read this and not watch me visually go through the deck list, but I will visually go through the deck list for you. We have this card right here. Basically it's a 4 and it catches 3 hammer when it comes into play, which is pretty powerful, I must say. For a coming to play ability, that seems pretty strong in all actuality. Then we have Pit Demon, action, steal 1. So every turn you basically steal an amber, which is kind of cool. But at the same time, you can't reap him or attack with him, and he has pretty good stats. So I feel like I'd want to attack with him. I haven't really evaluated that card. I haven't really played much in general. I've only gotten 3 games in because there isn't a whole lot of people in my card shop or area that really play this. I mean, the owner is really pushing it, and he's trying to get it more and more played, but it's hard in my community for anybody to want to spend money on anything that's not Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh! They just don't do it. It's very hard to get anybody to play anything that's not those games. Then we have Shimmer. Play if your opponent has 4 or more amber, steal 1, which is kind of cool. It's kind of situational, but it has good stats, so that's good. The Terror. Play if your opponent has no amber, steal 2 amber, or gain 2 amber. That's actually kind of cool. I like that. A little situational, but there's plenty of times where your opponent's not going to have any amber and you can just steal it from them. I noticed there's a lot of big, powerful creatures in this one, which is good, you know, a lot of 5s. We have this Weep. Your opponent discards a random card from their hand, which is really strong, man, because you get an amber and you get to discard a card from your hand, from your opponent's hand. So you're putting your opponent at a disadvantage and you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. That's always a good thing to do in one effect. You can do that every turn. I mean, that's pretty strong. I mean, he's a small creature, so he'll probably die before he gets to do it more than once. But yeah. Then we have Inspiration. Play ready and use a friendly character, which is kind of cool because I'm assuming you can ready and use any character, not just a sanctuary character. So that's actually pretty cool. Take hostages. Play for the remainder of the turn. Each time a friendly creature fights, it catches 1. This could be pretty powerful if you have a big board full of sanctuary or whatever. You could use this to really get a nice foothold on your opponent and really hinder their progression, which is kind of cool. Then we have Hollow the Blaster. I'm not a particularly big fan of this card. I mean, I know it's an artifact. I know you can reuse it over and over and just heal free damage, but I mean, it just doesn't seem like it's. I don't know. It's just a healing card. I'm not a big fan of that. I've never been a big fan of that kind of concept in card games. Just like sitting there removing damage. Singing with the Brotherhood. This one has Omi. Sacrifice Singing with Brotherhood. You can, for the remainder of the turn, you may use friendly sanctum creatures. This is actually pretty powerful because you could go on a big alpha strike with this. You could be setting up a whole board full of other creatures of other types. And then you could play a bunch of sanctum creatures, then you could declare another power, and this basically allows you to attack with 2 different houses on your turn, which is pretty powerful if you ask me. I mean, obviously I haven't tested any of these cards out to a full extent because I haven't really gotten to play much, but just by reading the effect and knowing the basic rules of the game, that seems really powerful. Gray Monk. Each friendly character gets +1 armor. Weep. Heal 2 damage from a creature. This is pretty good. I mean, this is basically one of those cards that's gonna just make it hard for your opponent to win in combat, and get rid of your creatures. The fact that it's got it's pretty weak itself, but if you put this if you get some strong flanks around this and our taunts or whatever, you can definitely this guy could definitely be very useful for your game plan, especially if you're doing creature heavy, which his deck does seem to be kind of creature heavy. Another Gray Monk. 2 Gray Monks seem like they're pretty strong in this deck. Then we have Weep. You may fully heal a creature. Yeah, I'm definitely seeing a healing theme in this particular deck. And I haven't seen that in the other Sanctuary decks I've seen. But yeah, definitely getting that vibe here. This might be a good deck to playtest because there seems to be a lot of ways to protect your creatures. And there seems to be some beefy creatures in the disc section of the deck. So this might be worth testing out. Rating Knight, play catcher 1 amber. Another Rating Knight, catcher 1 amber. Kind of interesting card. Got 2 armors, that's good. You may ready and fight with a neighboring creature. Another card that allows you to ready another creature that's not of the house. I'm seeing a lot of that. That's another theme I'm seeing with this particular deck is being able to use your other characters without calling that house. He gets +2 power when he's on a flank, so you basically are going to want him to be on a flank at all times, so he can be a freaking 6 with 2 armor. Seems pretty legit. Is this card upside down? No, this is the way the card art is. I don't like when they do that. Armageddon Cloak. This creature gains hazards 2 and destroyed. Fully heal this creature and destroy armor. That's pretty cool. It's basically like a regeneration effect. You know, you get to save your creature, and then you get rid of the card, but it gives you an amber, so that's good. You have Hidden Stash. Play, archive a card. I'm not really a big fan of that. It's probably one of the least favorite cards in this deck for me, but you gain amber. I don't know. I'm kind of impartial about the whole archiving concept in general, because I mean I know it's pretty powerful. I mean I know it can be pretty powerful, but I don't know. Like the cards I've used so far that interact with that mechanic just don't seem that great, and I just haven't really taken advantage of it yet in the few games I've played. So I'm not a big fan of it. Lights Out. Return 2 enemy creatures to their owner's hands. Pretty cool. And you get an amber, plus you get to slow your opponent down for a couple turns, or you get to get rid of some, or you can get rid of some upgrades that they have on them and stuff. So it seems solid enough. Let's see. You could also use this. Oh no, it says enemy creatures. I was about to say you could also use that to get damage off your own creatures, but it does say enemy creatures. Pawn sacrifice. Play. Sacrifice a friendly creature. If you do, deal 3 damage to each 2 creatures. I don't know. I mean, I've seen other cards that are like probably better than that. That don't require you to sacrifice a creature. Like what's that one in Mars that lets you deal 3 damage to everything and that's it? I mean, this is like a slightly worse version of that card. I don't know. Poison Wave. I like this one. It's basically a pyroclasm. It gives you an amber and does 2 damage to everything. That's pretty good. Master Plan. Put a card from your hand face down beneath Master Plan. Only play the card beneath Master Plan. Kind of a cool card. It gives you some it actually gives you some hidden information your opponent won't be able to take into effect or take into calculation. Speed Singlet. The first creature played each turn enters play ready. This is really cool. I mean, it does affect your opponent. It does allow your opponent to do the same thing, but this effect is really cool to me and could make the game really crazy. A lot faster pace and stuff, which I'm all for because I love fast-paced games. And I will admit that every game I've played of Keyforge has gone into at least an hour or longer of a game. They did not end fast at all. Then we have this Phantom guy. Basically, he has Elusive and Skirmish, which seems like a cool combination. Each time you play artifact, steal 1 amber. That's kind of cool. I don't know if there's a whole lot of artifacts in here, but that's a pretty cool effect. Elusive, action, steal 1 amber. Yeah, not decent enough card. Kind of a small guy though. Shadow Self. This is very much a defensive card. It basically absorbs damage that your other creatures would take. So yeah, not the greatest thing, but it has a big, powerful ass, and it takes a lot of damage. Silvertooth enters play ready. So basically, it's got haste, and it's you can weep real quick with it or attack with it. Silent Dagger. I'm a big fan of Silent Dagger. I like the ability to be able to deal damage to something, and then also gaining an amber seems strong. 2 Silent Daggers, which actually seems kind of good in this deck. Arise, choose a house, return each creature of the house from your graveyard to your hand. This is a pretty strong card. I mean, it gives you a chain, but that's a pretty strong effect. You can really set up some strong plays with that. Control the weak, choose a house on your opponent's hand. I'm not a huge fan of this card because it seems like unless you have some insider information about your opponent's hand, then you're never gonna really you're not gonna really do that much to them. I mean, it messes up their plans. Like at best, it's an annoyance, and I don't think it's really that great, honestly. Because at best, it's just a 1-turn stall / annoyance card, and it doesn't really get you that much quicker to win the game. Fear, return an enemy creature to its owner's hand. That's just pretty cool. I mean, you can, like I said earlier with the other card, you can use this to get upgrades off of a creature or counters off of a creature, or just move something out of the way so you can go on an alpha strike, and it has plenty of uses. gateway to disc. Destroy each creature. Gains. This is the quintessential board wipe of the game. It just straight up destroys the thing. Doesn't deal damage or anything. Just straight up destroys everything. It does give you 3 chains, which seems like a lot, but I mean it is also common, and it destroys all creatures, so it's pretty good. And this deck actually has. Does it have 2 of them? I thought this is a deck that has 2 of them. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's different. Oh no, I think that's. I don't know. I have a deck somewhere that has two of those, but maybe it is this one. And then we have this thing right here. Item: use a friendly creature. That seems pretty strong, especially since this is like it's an action effect. Weapon action. Keys cost 3 more ammo during your opponent's next turn. That seems pretty good. I mean, it's kind of stalling, but I mean, if you're already using disc, you can just activate that action and don't have to worry about it. Key hammer. If your opponent forged a key on their previous turn, unforge it. Your opponent gains 6 amber. This is like the only card I can think of that actually directly interacts with keys. Because usually keys don't get affected by anything. They don't get destroyed. They don't get removed or anything. You can't steal keys. You can't catch your keys. But apparently you can destroy a key with this card, which is kind of cool. So, or unforged is the technical term they use. So there it is, guys. That's my video for the Dell Specialist. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more deck list videos, and I'm also gonna be putting out some top 5 or top 10 lists once I get more familiar with all the cards in the set. Like once I I plan to open a bunch of more decks and really getting familiar with all the cards. And once I do that, I'm definitely gonna be putting out some videos, kind of analyzing and breaking down the cards I think are the best in each house or each, my favorite of each kind of type of card, like say my top 5 draw spells or whatever. I'll see you later for that, and thank you guys for watching.